it's not an easy process to try to like break yourself off an unhealthy friendship. It's like, it hurts just as much as a real breakup. Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of MHCTalks, where we invite guests to have a casual conversation with each other through activities. In this episode, we'll explore the topic of unhealthy friendships. Over a game of Jenga, our guests will be sharing their experiences and how they have coped with it.
Hi, my name is Winona. You can call me Win for short. I'm currently working full-time as a consultant.
Hello, I'm Deon. I just graduated from JC last year, and now I'm working as an intern as a journalist.
For the first round of Jenga, you each take turns to pick a block, and when either one of you picks a block with a green sticker, you pick a question card from the deck to answer.
Okay, green dot.
Okay.
What would you define as an unhealthy friendship? What are some traits of an unhealthy friendship?
Honestly, if you are friends with someone and you're thinking to yourself, I think this friendship might be a little bit unhealthy, that is a telltale sign of an unhealthy friendship. The moment you start thinking about it, it probably is. Yeah.
I should go with my gut feeling more these days. I think if you have an instinct that tells you something is off, or you feel like your energy is drained when you talk to this person, you need to take so much more effort in order to accommodate them, or like start to people please, then that is unhealthy friendship. You're compromising yourself. When did you start recognizing the signs of an unhealthy friendship?
Yeah, pretty much like when I started thinking about it, it was probably unhealthy. Like the moment I realized that it was on my mind, then yes.
I think Deon has very good self-realization. For me, it took like a long time, or even things like me relating what happened in a friendship to other friends who are of course non-toxic and like healthy, supportive. Then they tell me that, hey, this is not something that's quite right. It's not something that should be seen in a supportive and healthy friendship. And then I started thinking more about it, like what Deon mentioned earlier, and slowly coming to the realization. But actually, it took me a few years.
At what point did you decide that the unhealthy friendship was something that you needed to work through?
I think it comes in a realization when you know that it's not quite right and you would want to try to help your friend get out of that behavior, because it's probably not just hurting your relationship with them, but also their relationship with other people.
Oh my god, that's actually really like nice of you though, to like try to actively help them work through it. Because usually people, like, if they decide that a friendship is unhealthy, okay, maybe I'm speaking about myself only, but like usually if like they decide that the friendship is unhealthy, the first instinct would be to distance, at least for me. And I feel like a lot of people think that it might be selfish behavior, but I don't think it's very selfish. Like, you need to put yourself first, you know? And like you and your mental health, like when you are in a better state to help them, then yes, then help them lah. But if you yourself are like not feeling very vibes, then just don't like try to entangle yourself more in the situation.
Okay, green dot also. Oh. How did the unhealthy friendship affect your mental health?
Man.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it was so bad. I was thinking about like one friendship in particular, but I feel like it will affect your mental health through different stages also. So firstly would be like the stage of friendship. Like how would it affect your mental health during the stage of friendship, right? Me and that friend had a lot of like self-depreciating humor, and that was like how we got on. And she's also very smart, so I compared myself a lot to her, like unconsciously, even though like she didn't really do anything to try to provoke it. It's just that I unconsciously did. So in essence, my self-perception was very bad. Like I thought very negatively of myself all the time. So like yeah, that was that during the friendship itself. And it was also negatively affected when the friendship ended, because honestly I took it like a breakup, like a friendship breakup.
For me it was pretty bad. I have one in particular I'm also thinking of. I think it changed a lot of my self-perception also when I was with the person, and when they make comments about, for instance, even how you dress, or like why you do a certain way. Just a lot of shaming. Yeah. And then it made me very conscious about myself, have very poor self-esteem. And of course, this translated to very bad coping mechanisms. Like you stay up late, then you have to rush for class the next day. And actually, I think it's really bad because the person who hurt me the most is like the person who can comfort. That's how we get the validation.
Okay. What steps did you take to deal with it? How did you try to raise up unhealthy behaviors to your friend?
Steps. I think first you try to draw boundaries because you know that maybe some particular habit of theirs you don't like. So you try to tell them like, hey, maybe you can be more mindful of it. Don't say that stuff or like, don't shove it in my face. When drawing boundaries fails, the next step would be to just change the topic when they start to get on it. So you try to like divert away. But I don't think it's very helpful because they keep harping on it.
Honestly, I don't think I was very good at raising unhealthy behaviors. Like I'm not a very confrontational person, so it's a bit difficult for me to like when something happens and like I immediately feel offended. Like I would just like take a step back instead of like saying something because I don't want to like start an argument out of nowhere. And that's not very good lah. I was like very avoidant of everything, and a lot of all of my unhealthy friendships had to kind of end naturally, as in like the other person broke it off first, or we stopped like going to the same school, or like they wanted to distance themselves from me because I wasn't as like active anymore, that kind of thing. So I didn't really take any concrete steps to deal with it.
I think the question can be a bit open-ended. Like I also had very bad ways of dealing with it. I people pleased, so it was going with what they wanted.
Then how do you like stop?
I think it's when you realize that you have enough of this and then you don't want to continue your life like that because it's taking so much toll on your mental health, especially.
Is it my turn or your turn?
I think I'm...
Oh my god, okay.
You want to take from the bottle?
The bottom is like one part. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Can't find it. No.
For this round of Jenga, we would like you to rebuild the Jenga tower in any way that you like. You may choose to build individual towers or build one together. After which, we would like you to share why you have chosen to build your tower in that manner.
Let's try to like form a group.
Okay, let's try like this. 6 in a row like that.
6?
Then it will be like this.
Oh, something say it's like that.
And this out this.
Like maybe like something else like...
Okay, wait, let's do like one more. Okay.
Whoa. It don't really look like pyramid.
Honestly, it kind of does. Like from my side.
From the side.
From my
That's
side.
from the side. Can we try to expand it a bit?
Yeah, let's expand it.
Let's just
We expand until like
here and there.
oh, this is like a raft. Like oh no, like a castle. Pyramid. I feel like friendships are like this, you know. Strong foundation. You should be whoever you want to be on. With this like square bottom, right? I could like literally pile up.
That is true.
This is a representation of the mind in a good friendship. And then just now that long Jenga tower was a representative of the mind in an unhealthy friendship.
It topples easily or like what?
Like the more holes you poke in it, like the more easy it is to topple.
I guess it's more like what can we transform it into? Just because it's a Jenga block, it doesn't mean that we have to build a tower. Even though that's usually the rules of the game.
I think the process of rebuilding, it would be difficult for literally anybody. Yeah, and even more difficult if like your support system was the only person that you're trying to distance yourself away from. It's not an easy process to try to like break yourself off an unhealthy friendship. It's like, it hurts just as much as a real breakup. Yeah, like especially if the person meant a lot. But yeah, you need to find people who are able to build you up in a way that you can think of yourself positively and work on yourself.
Well, I felt like the building of the Jenga was symbolic in that sense also. Like it was a pile of mess, right? But then we put it slowly back together. I think that the entire process also, like you start off being like a mess and you don't know what you should do next. most of the time you're just getting by day at the start. But then afterward, you will have stuff to do in your life, right? Then that helps set habits. So for me, I go to the gym, it helps me a lot. It grounds or like anchors you to something. And then you know that just because that person's gone doesn't mean that the world's going to end or anything like that. I think it's really going out and knowing that you still can connect with other people. You still can have good friendships. Might not necessarily replicate the same thing. And you're not supposed to like really replicate the same because you're just finding a substitute and that's not healthy also. So
by showing love languages, they can help. I guess it depends on you, right? Like for me, my love language is quality time. So I like it when like my friends like joke me out, like ask me like make me feel included in things. I think that was what happened also when I was dealing with like unhealthy feelings and friendships. Like I had other friends that talked to me pretty regularly and regularly invited me out for certain things and made me feel like I was part of another group.
for my case, because sometimes you frame things very negatively, you keep blaming yourself. Yeah. Because the unhealthy person might push blame onto you. So having friends that reaffirm you that, you know, you're fine, you did what you could, can help reset or like reframe your mind. That's part of the healing process also.
I think the most important thing is just to know your boundaries. You know what they cannot cross. Even if they are around you physically, they don't have to get to you mentally.
I think like you have to know you're not responsible for them. You're not responsible for their actions or their words or anything like that. So you can only control what's within us, like ourselves. And doing that will help a lot of people like alleviate their burden because they might feel like I'm obliged to help them, they're my friend. But that's not true. Like their happiness and their responsibilities on them as a person. Yeah. But for ourselves, the most important thing is really just know your boundaries. I think it's going to be tough trying to break out of unhealthy friendships, but I never regret any part of it. So don't dismiss the friendship as, oh, this is entirely bad, because you did have fun, you did have genuine feelings. So you don't have to bury them away, but you also have to realize that at this point in time, maybe things were not as what they were before. And you have to learn that you are in the present moment. Without going through that pain, I don't think I would have as much realization, you know, when you process all this.
It really isn't always bad. Like for all the friendships that I talked about, like I have a lot of good feelings in my heart for them as well. Like they were definitely very important parts of my life and they shaped me to who I am today basically. And while I don't want to be friends with that person anymore because like, I feel like it's not very good for me, you just need to like appreciate whatever they taught you at that period of time in your life. At the end of the day, if you can overcome the hurdle of like being better or like finding yourself again, you will come to realize that they would have taught you a lesson, whether or not the experience was good or bad.
Sometimes friendship have a phase. Once you get out of that phase, then it doesn't really serve you or them a meaningful purpose anymore. So it's okay to let go.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of MHCTalks. Bye.
She's just taking blocks like with ease, you know. I'm having the struggle of my life
Thank you
here.
for tuning in to
City hands.
MHCTalks. Wait, let's do a rush first. What's the line again?
I toppled it instead.